Well, if you can see all that green in there, you can see all my onions are starting to come up. And it's looking good. Well, good morning, friends. I'm just out here checking out my onions, getting ready to go into the greenhouse. I planted seeds out in my greenhouse. Oh gosh, I've been doing it for the last week. But stuff is coming up beautifully and quick. I'm really amazed because last year, but it was a little colder last spring. But, and I had to heat my greenhouse last spring. I didn't have to heat it this year. I'm just amazed. So all my stuff is coming up and it's looking really good. And look, this was what I'm about to show you, my lovage here. I'll show you. This lovage was just starting to peek through the dirt about, maybe 5 days ago. And look at it already. For those of you who don't know what lovage is, it smells and tastes like celery. And it's an herb. And I love it. And so do my chickens. So see how pretty that is? It's getting nice size. I'm so excited for spraying and planting and getting my yard fixed up. Looking nice. My little neighbor guy is going to come today, my little helper, and he's going to help me finish raking, and he helps me move stuff that I need help moving. Girls, good morning, girls. How are you ladies this morning? Friends, okay, let's go around here. This is doing really good. I added some more to it, but look, I got little sprouts and stuff growing in here from seeds. And if you can see down here by my feet, I got stuff growing down here too. That's too funny. That's just seeds I threw out in the compost, like melons. I think it's muskmelon seeds. I'm going to turn you around. We are going in the coop. Take a good look around. Mr. Rooster is gone. No, I did not dispatch him. I gave him away alive. My one friend took him. And what he does, if he dispatches them, whatever, that's his business. But he is no longer in this coop, and he's no longer a threat to my grandchildren. And the girls are doing pretty good without him. Now, they're going to be forming their own pecking order, which, hens always do. Hence the term hen pecking. So they'll figure out which one is in charge. And they'll do good. And no, for those of you who wonder, do you have to have a rooster to have eggs? No. The hens will lay eggs without the rooster. The only thing is, the eggs will not be fertile. So if you get a broody hen with no rooster, it's not going to do her any good to sit on those eggs because they will not hatch. So anyway, just a little tidbit of information there. You don't have to have a rooster. And I will never have a rooster as long as I got grandchildren that are small. Because they're mean boogers. My grandmother, that's where I get that term pot licker. She'd get mad and call everything a pot licker. Well, that rooster was a pot licker. All there is to it. Anyway, so, I want to show you. I'm so excited. See the big garden area? It is 20 by 25. And it is right off the front of my greenhouse there. Last year, I grew the potatoes right along this edge. This year, my neighbor came down with his big old huge tractor and his rototiller, and he busted up all that land, tilled it all up for me, all that section, so that I can grow my sunflowers in there. And in that far corner, I'm going to have tomatoes. I'm going to grow a new variety, a new to me anyway, of indeterminate tomatoes. I can't think of the name off the top of my head. I have to look at the package. Anyway, I am going to also build some nice hefty cages so that they have a lot of support to grow on. Because indeterminates, unlike determinate tomato plants, they keep growing as long as you give them the room. And they will keep producing until the frost kills them off. And last year I had an indeterminate plant growing in my bed out front, and the wind busted it. We had a bad storm. It had a lot of fruit on it. Oh, I was just excited for those tomatoes, big, beautiful tomatoes, and the plant busted right in two. And it was just hanging, and I was just sick. So this year, that's not going to happen because it's probably going to be an overkill. But I'm not going to lose any of my tomatoes anymore. But that's it. That's what we got going on right here. We're still working on getting that hole filled in. You know, maybe by the time we retire, it'll be done. I don't know. It's just you can't find anybody to help you fill it in, not even paying them. And you just can't seem to find a dump truck. I mean, I've got the qualifications to drive a dump truck. So does my husband, obviously. We can't even find where we can rent a dump truck. And the village, I have asked them repeatedly if I could hire them to fill this hole in. And they just never get back to me. And it makes me upset. So I don't know what's going to happen. Eventually, we'll get it filled in. With COVID, they're not, businesses aren't doing as much. So it might have to wait another year. Anyway, this is the new addition, the garden. And I can't wait. Now, my friend brought me German butterhead potatoes. I've got two behind me. You'll see that big bed right there behind me. That's got potatoes in it because I had so many. And then the big bed back there behind that blue tarp, that's full of potatoes. And then my friend, bless his heart, I just love them to death. They brought me like 5 pounds of, maybe not quite 5 pounds, but a little 5-pound bag of German butterhead potatoes. And I'm going to plant them all along the edge of that garden. So we'll see how those do. And they are a early crop too. Over here, you can see behind me, I got this to clean up yet and get these beds cleaned out and ready to go, which I got quite a bit of time yet. That's been raked a little bit, but it's got to be re-raked and taken care of. Anyway, I'm in the greenhouse today, most of today. So we're going to go in here and I'll show you what I'm doing. Oh, the sun is bright coming through here. It is beautiful, and I'm in my happy place. Look at, I just planted these. This is broccoli, and I just planted this in this little tub, this little pot, about 4 days ago, and look at them. I just can't believe how well things are doing. So I'm going to be transplanting them, and it's so easy to do. I like to do it. When I plant them, I mean, you might be different, but when I plant these in a little tub or a little pot, I don't like them to get much bigger than this when I transplant them, because then it's easy to get them apart and obviously transplant. If they get too much bigger than that, then the roots get tangled with each other and, you chance on breaking it. So I like to do it when they're that young. My dirt, friends, is nothing fancy. I use Miracle Grow potting mix. That's it. I don't use a fancy seed starter. I don't add anything to it. This is a moisture control. And, gosh, I got the bag down here. I'm not advertising for these people either. And I'm not sponsored by them. But that's what I use. That's simple. Just Miracle Grow potting mix. And it's a moisture control. And I think I paid like $13 for a bag, which is 2 cubic feet, which is okay to start my plants. I don't need a lot of them. So that's what I use. And very inexpensive, budget friendly. And it works good. My plants are doing very well in it. So you don't have to have anything fancy. You don't have to pay a lot of money. Just moisture control. Now what I do here is I fill these trays up. I don't water them beforehand either. I like to handle them when they're a little dry. And then after I get all my seedlings transplanted, then I water it really good. And add a little more potting mix so, you know, it's full. Nothing beats a greenhouse. And I sure hope I'm going to be able to inspire a lot of you to grow your own food, even if you start a little bitty garden. It doesn't matter. Just, you know, something little. It's nice to have, you just take that down in there and push it down. See, I'll show you. What am I looking for? A stick. Okay, I just take a little chunk up like this, okay? I set it down there. And I just break it apart and pull these out very gently. And see, the nice, well, let me get over there, the nice little root that has on it, beautiful. And then I place it in there and pinch it down. But if they get any longer, look at that long, I don't know if you can see that long root on there. It's really long, beautiful. Put it right in there because these will take off like mad now. Push it down. That's what I do. I love to do this. This just cleans your soul. And you don't have to have a whole lot of money to do this. I know people get on the internet, and I'm not bashing anybody by any means because, you know, some people spend a hefty amount of money to grow food, and they absolutely have beautiful gardens, but you don't need to spend a lot of money for a beautiful garden. You need to spend a lot of time on it, but not a lot of money. All right. Look at that one. Just beautiful. And if I didn't tell you, this is broccoli. And I'm growing this because I want a few plants for myself, and then I'm going to sell some plants in my market stand. So I'll have a couple flats, probably total when I'm done. See how easy this is to do? I poked my holes in there already, put my plants in there, and they're coming out of here gorgeous. This is my ideal size to transplant. I know some people do it, you know, a little bit, let them get a little bit bigger, but I like it this size. This is ideal for me. Now try not to disturb the root too much. So if there's a bunch of dirt on it, I just put it down in there anyway. Those are going to be gorgeous. Listen to the birds. Springtime is beautiful. Everything's coming back to life. I love it. Our leaves, oh my gosh, people. We usually don't have the leaves coming out on our trees until right around the first of May, first week of May is when we really get leaves on our trees. This year we've got a lot of stuff. The leaves are already coming out. So we're about 2 weeks ahead of the game, and I think it's because of the mild winter and the mild weather we've been having. We've had 2 mild winters in a row. I know you can't see my face too well, and I'm sorry. But we've had 2 very mild winters in a row. And this has been kind of a blessing. I love it. And I mean, my lilac bush, which I don't usually get the leaves on there or the buds on there till May, and it's always blooming by my birthday on the 19th of May, so I always have fresh lilacs because those are my favorites. That's my favorite flower, I think, ever, you know, is the lilacs. So I always have lilacs on my birthday, and I just love it. But this year, I think we may have lilacs sooner than my birthday, which is okay, too. I usually take them and I dehydrate them. I dry them because they just smell wonderful. This year I think I'm going to make a lilac oil out of them. I might do a video on that and show you how I do that. Then I can use that in my, I use essential oil in my homemade, let me get you up here. I use essential oil in my homemade laundry soap. And this year, if I do it with the lilacs, then I'll have lilac essential oil. So it'll be nice. Okay, let me see. I only need a few more for this tray. Beautiful. Here's one. Nice one. Oh, nice big old long red on that little guy. Be very careful when you hold these transplants or these seedlings. I always just hold them by the top leaf. Excuse me, so that you don't break the stem. I hold them just like that, real carefully. Put them down in there, push them down. There we go. And that is planted. So I'm going to stick my broccoli tag back in here. We're going to walk over here. And I'm going to give it a water when I get my hose. There we go. I watered everything else in there last night. I don't do it real hard. Just real lightly. Back up and they'll be beautiful. I don't drown them in it, but remember this was totally dry when I planted them, so I want it nice and moist because in this greenhouse it gets dry real quick. I wanted to tell you, with fertilizing, I don't fertilize anything inside the greenhouse that little. I wait till about 2 weeks after, or else when I plant, I use a lot of blood meal and bone meal, which might be a little bit pricier, but there's no way around that. My big garden section out here, I already threw some. Nothing's ever been planted in there, so I put a lot of triple 12 in there. And I do use commercial fertilizers in that manner. Everything's not organic. I use what works and what I can afford. But mostly I rely on my compost. And that does really good. So I usually have nice big piles of compost that I amend my beds with. And I put in there when I plant. And a lot of times, this is the season for fishing. So I will go to the, fish cleaning stations, so to speak, and I'll collect some ends and pieces and leftover fish parts. And I'll, bag them up, put them in my freezer in a nice bag. But I will put those in the holes, like in my tomatoes, and I'll use that for fertilizer. That is the best fertilizer too. If you can't afford blood meal or bone meal, use some fish and just keep it in your freezer. Works pretty good, and it's not going to contaminate your food. It's in the freezer. So I do that too, and it works quite well. That, a little bit of blood meal and bone meal, and I plant everything. And I'll show you when I plant my tomatoes especially, because I do a little extra to them just to help keep them nutrient rich. So anyway, let's move on. I got my greenhouse set up here pretty good for convenience. These are my new trays that I bought so that I can sell them. But there's my dirt. I keep it in a big tub, break it up, put it in my trays, and that way I'm not wasting any, none's falling on the ground, so I just leave it right down in there. And it doesn't go in the tray, it goes back into the tub. And it works perfect. See that? And I just wipe that down. Give it a little shake because I use the web trays. And we're ready to go. So we are ready to plant this one. Okay? And this is what I do. I just take my marker and I make nice holes in here. And it makes life easy. You can use your finger, but I find that this little marker for me and the size of the seedlings that I transplant makes a perfect size hole for transplant. It has rained for the last 5 days. And today it's 60 degrees and sunny and it's not going to rain, and I'm absolutely loving it. Yes, we needed the rain because we did not get a lot of snow this year. So that rain will be wonderful for us. All right. Now, I got these few here. One right there. We're going to plant these. And I do believe my friends are coming to plant some stuff for their garden in here. They left some seeds here and they want to plant and start some stuff and house it in my greenhouse, which I got plenty of room. So that'll be fun. They're going to come tomorrow. I love planting stuff. Okay. These are doing good. And if you can hear that in the background, that's our church bells. Every hour on the hour between 8 and 6 at night, they chime. And at noon and at 6 o'clock, they play beautiful music. And I'm so used to it after living here for so long that half the time I don't even hear it, you know. I'm so used to it. All right, so that's it for there. Now I can put this in here because nothing else is going to grow in there. And I'll save that for some other seeds that I may have. Perfect. I'll make tickets for this, just like I did the plastic one on there. Only these ones I use little sticks. So, let's see here. Three of them. Broccoli and broccoli. There we have it. That's what I spend my day doing. And I love it. I absolutely love it. This is my happiest place in the whole world, beside my pantry. So I've got several things to do. Look at these went wild. This is going to be fun. I have to sort through this. These are Cosmo. They were growing in my window in the house. Same with these. Look at the beautiful marigolds. I usually grow them in a big old tray, and then I transplant them, but they usually don't get this big before I transplant, so I'm having fun with that. And I've got a few more seeds to plant. My daughter's going to come this week and do some planting flowers, because she likes the flowers. And I've also got to show you this. This is kale, and I've got to transplant some of this. Absolutely beautiful. I got a couple of them growing in each one, and they've all done so well. So this is red Russian kale. This stuff is wonderful. I sell a lot of it. Last year I gave a lot of it away, and because I don't eat kale. Not that I don't like it, I'm not supposed to eat it because of my thyroid. Anyway, my chickens devoured what was left. So I'm going to plant some of that, and I'll probably plant some of that right in here with this broccoli. Just like that over. And there. And see how many I got in here because I just spread the seeds out in here and just let them go. Let's see how we do. Oh. Okay. So I don't want them. That's why this is exactly why I don't like letting them get this big. Because then they're tangled and it's almost a nightmare to get them apart. But I'm getting them. These are coming apart pretty good. There's a nice bunch of roots on there. So that one's going in. Give it a little shake. Look at that. Nice piece there. It's going in there. Okay. This one's going down here. Yeah, these will do good. Oh. I broke that little leaf off, but you know what? It'll still be okay. I got a little one here. A couple of little ones. I'll put them in there because they're doing good. They might be small, but they're doing fine. Put them right in there. Look at there. Nice. A lot of people just direct sow these, but because I sell quite a bit of it, I start them for them. And they sell nicely. So, anyway, I'm going to keep going with this, friends. I've got a lot to do in my greenhouse. I'll show you when I'm all done how everything is going today. I told you a little bit about transplanting and showed you didn't have to buy nothing fancy for a starting medium. So, you know, just a bag of Miracle-Gro potting mix. It works beautiful. You see it, and it's cheap and works. Good for my budget. So there you have it. Anyway, I will see you tomorrow, and you all have a wonderful day, and thanks for hanging out with me.